So, you know what? We have just one person, but I believe we could just start from here, and then we'll just wait along and see if people could join in. Um, so let's just start by saying, uh, welcome to the stream. So we're just starting, and I'll just like introduce a little bit about myself. My name is Charizard, and I'm actually the founder of Coding Cleverly, this channel, the chapter on Codecademy, and also Microsoft ambassador and chapter leader in Codecademy and a Google developer and all that stuff. But what I want to say is that I have a chapter which which is on Codecademy, and our job here is to do some free events every single month. And this month we have an event about data science, and data science is one thing very important. I just want to know if anyone in the stream knows something about data science. If they do, just let me know in the chats. I just want to see your results, answers. Just give me anything you know about data science. If you're a beginner and if you know a little bit about it, if you just know a little bit of Python, just let me know. And it's totally okay for those of you who are totally new to this field, and for those of you who are a little bit advanced or intermediate, it's really amazing because we're going to be unlocking some of the cool features of data science, and we're going to get something really cool done. Actually have a data set that I'm going to be sharing in my Discord server, so I would actually recommend every single one of those people. Awesome to get the data set. So first of all, I'm going to get Awesome. Yeah, I know you know Python. So, uh, and Python is one of the best languages to start with data science. So, first let's get everything started. And I have this data file that I already set up. So, this is in the downloads folder, and I have this data science folder, and it's called Pokemon Data. And there's this extra folder that I'm gonna have to delete, and these two files. So one is an IPyNB file, and the other one is a CSV file. So I put them in a folder called Pokemon Data. I'm actually gonna create a zip file, so I'm gonna compress the zip file, and now this is a zip file, and I'm gonna share this file to every single one of you guys. And the way you're gonna get this is actually gonna have to go in the Discord server, the Codecademy Discord server, and I'm gonna share that inside the useful resources, and I'm gonna say um, data science data science zip file or zip folder. Okay, and we're just gonna attach that zip folder here. So upload a file, and we're just gonna get that path, and this is the zip file, and there you go. Just give a thumbs up once you download this. Okay. So just an emoji over here, thumbs up. So I have my thumbs up because I already have it. So what you're gonna do is just download this folder and just continue to download, and then download it into your file because this is gonna be a hands-on event where and then once you download it, you should see this thing called Pokemon Data, and there should be two files in here. So one should be this data science work.ipynb. It's a Jupyter notebook file, and the other one is an Excel file. It's a CSV file, my bad, but it opens up with Excel. And these are the two files that you should see. Just let me know if you downloaded it, and once you're done, we're ready to go. So once we're done with that, we have this Pokemon data, and we have this IPyNB and Pokemon data CSV. I'm gonna let everyone know what these things are, but before all of this, I'm gonna tell you the requirements for this session. You're gonna have to know a little bit about Python, and to have Python installed, you could go to python.org. You could go straight to the downloads place, and then you could see over here download for Windows 3.11.2. It actually detects my operating system, and that's why it says Windows here. For those of you who have Mac or Linux, it will detect their own operating system, and then from there you could just download it. But if you just strictly want Jupyter Notebook, which is the software that we're going to be using to run our Python code, it's not like recommended to download. I mean, you could have this explicitly download like what I have, but the main thing that we need is this thing called Jupyter Notebook. Now, Jupyter Notebook is this project is a project to develop open source software, open standards and services for interactive computing across multiple programming languages. It was spun off from IPython in that and was founded all that stuff. So actually, Jupyter Notebook is a web-based interactive computing platform, and the notebook combines live code, equations, narrative, text, and visualization. So the basic thing is that it's actually a web-based interactive computing platform where you could type in your Python code and it would work online. And it's super recommended for data science and machine learning. For getting that downloaded, you could either just go to jupyter.org, but what's recommended, the recommended route is going to anaconda.org and downloading it from there. So I just type in Anaconda, and you can see over here, this is computer program. It's a distributed of Python and R programming languages for scientific or whatever it is. So there's this Anaconda Navigator download. That's actually what we need. So we go here into this link, um, and I'm gonna sharing this link. I'm gonna be sharing this link. So this is the Python link. Let's just, I'm gonna quickly share it in the stream. So this is the stream, and Python link. So it says Python Django Dev 3 years now. I wrote and manage a process management system for my employer, but nothing I'd call data science. All right, no problem. I hope you learn something really cool in this session. So we're just gonna be, doing some data science is basically like, getting a piece of data and just learning it, exploring what's new about it, and determining some results and future predictions based on what you have. And one of the biggest benefits is that it's now like the crude oil for the future. In general, like now data is called the new oil, so it's very crucial and very important to know. And that's why it's totally in demand now, and so many people out there are looking for data scientists to work on their work and projects. So that was the Python file, and the other one that I wanted is this thing. So it's called the Anaconda Navigator. You could just code data science technology for a better world. So here's this place. Just click on this, and it should download the Anaconda Navigator, and it should work. So it's like 621, but I would not recommend just wasting your time and downloading it during this session. It's for those of you who could download it afterwards. So this is the Anaconda link, and I told you that this is the that platform where it provides you so many different services, and one of those services is Jupyter Notebook. If I actually show you, so let me just pause this installation because I already have it. I could go to the Anaconda Navigator, which is right here, and it show you how it actually works. So if we minimize all these tabs, we have this Anaconda Navigator prompt that opens up like this. So there's this green circle in the middle, and just wait until it loads up, and you'll see something pretty cool. Just give it a second. Okay, so now what happens here is that we have this user update application, but no, these are so many tools that we could use for our data science projects and the Python stuff. But one of the most important ones is this thing that's Jupyter Notebook, and it's basically built inside of this Anaconda Navigator. Um, and then there's the CMD prompt, Jupyter Lab Notebook, Qt Console, and that data lore and VS Code. It's a code editor. Spider is another Python development IDE. So what we're going to actually be using is this web-based interactive computing notebook environment. So we just click on launch, and what happens is that it basically opens up this new instance of Jupyter Notebook on my browser. So this is the home page or how it looks like. And that's one way to open up the Jupyter Notebook. So I'm just quitting this and I'm saying yes, I want to quit this. And you could just quick cancel that as well. But I just want to show you another way to open up that Jupyter Notebook. And the way you could do it is just simply type in Jupyter once you have installed. So just type in Jupyter Notebook. It runs a little bit on the CMD and then opens up this page. And this is the page that it should be existing with. And we're going to have to actually look and explore for this folder which is called Data Science Python Data. There are these two files, and then this is the things that we need to target. So what we could go here is in the downloads, and then we go into this data science folder. Now note that this is my path and your path will be different. So Pokemon data is right here, and then these are the two files that we were looking at visually, and now we could see them in text format. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this IPyNB file. This is the file that the Jupyter Notebook reads and it converts it into some beautiful looking Python cells. Now these are the cells that you see on the top. You could see these, these rectangular things on the top, and then they're highlighted with green. These are the cells that are shown in the Jupyter Notebook. And what I'm going to do is actually going to just maximize my screen so that it looks very visually appealing on your screens and everything. So this is the title of my notebook. It was called Data Science Work. I could just click on it and just change the data science work to something like data analysis, or intro to data science. Okay, and then I just click on this rename, and then this should rename my file name. So this is going to be changed inside of this directory as well. Now you can see intro to data science is now the new name for the file. It doesn't really affect anything. Rest every of the content is the same. Now look, I already have some bunch of other cells that are already populated, and don't worry because I actually need this, and I'm going to have to explain all of that for you. But before all of this, let me just quickly give a refresher on some small concepts of Python. Now remember what we have in Python is list, okay? So this is a list, and now this looks like an ugly looking list. It has so many things going on. There has this inner list over here. There has this list over here, and then there's this list over here. So there's a bunch of going on over here. So, but there's the parent list that we need to consider, and that's this list that I highlighted. And we know that the list has these indices that start from 0 all the way to the size n minus 1, right? If we go to the paint, and I should show you that if we make a list, basically the list, oh man, so we have a list, but then we have these cells. Just consider them that this is 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4, but the total thing will be of 5 length or 5 size. So what we want here is it's starting from 0, and they're comma separated, so this is the next element. So 0, 1, and then this whole thing is 2, then this entire thing is 3, and then because I know that the comma is over here, then this is 4, and then the comma is 5, and then there's this comma, and then 6, and then there's a comma, and then 7. So actually what my goal is to find hello, the hello text, and I want to print it out from this crazy looking list. To do this, it's pretty simple. I'm not going to look into the solution right now, and I'm just going to discuss it quickly with you. So it's 0, 1, 2, this entire thing, and then this entire thing was 3, which is from here all the way to here, this thing, because this was the closing bracket to this one, and this thing or right here is the closing bracket to that one, and this, the exterior bracket is the closing to that one at the end. So this is the third location, which is accurate right here. But once we are in the third location, now where do I have to go? Remember, I'm looking for the text hello. Now you can see that this is 0, and then what happens is that we have this 1, which is this entire thing. This list is going all the way till here. And then this is 2, and then this is 3. So we're obviously going to do 0 and 1. And we're going to actually do 1 because this is now the first. So that's why there's 3 and then 1. Okay, so now once we're in this 1, we actually have another list to deal with. And we have these indices 0, 1, and then we have this thing called 2. So where do we have to go? 2, correct. So now once we're in 2, we're just gonna have, now people might confuse themselves and they'll say, well, we're into, now this is the text hello, but actually what's happening is that you're just getting the list out, and the list has one element called hello. You just need to print out the text. Now what I could do is I could write something here on the top. So move selected cell up, or maybe just add in a cell, insert cell below, but I want to insert something on the top. So mm, the goal here is basically, let me see if I could insert cell bottom, insert cell, insert in insert cell top. If I go here, I didn't even tell it, it's anaconda. Just want to know shortcut key or something. Shortcut, shortcut key. There you go. How do I insert cell above in Jupyter? It says enter take you into edit mode. Uh, H show all shortcuts. Up select cell above. Down select cell above. Shift up extend cells above. Okay, I think it's like shift up and then something. Shift up and then A or something. I'm not sure if that's gonna work, but shift up and then A. Oh man. Uh, shift up A. No. You know what? We're not wasting time, so what we're gonna do is basically I'm just gonna create a cell on the bottom over here. There you go. So my goal is to um, take out the text hello. So the hellos in strings like this uh, from the list. Okay, that's my goal. I wrote in comments, so it doesn't affect anything. So that's what I said. What we got is so we were till here, and if I only did this, it was going to actually print out, okay, because it's saying the list is not defined, I have to run this thing. And the way I'm running is basically shift and enter. It's a shortcut key for just not going in here. Now this is the thing that I wanted to tell you. Now, when we did 3, 1, and 2, we got this thing. But we actually need the text hello inside of it. So what we do is we get the first index of that list. And what is that? 0. Obviously, that's the first element. And that's how we got the text hello from this list. Now the other way is this thing. Take out the hello text from the dictionary. This is on the bottom. This thing, D, and then we have these squiggly brackets. And once you have squiggly brackets, you're supposed to know that there are dictionaries in Python. Now this is the solution, but I'm removing the solution, and we're going to try to do this on our own. So the, to get this thing done, what we have to do is, first of all, we're gonna have to get the dictionary and notice that there's key value pairs in dictionaries. Remember, like I told you before, I mean, maybe in earlier sessions, that a dictionary consists of two things. One is the squiggly bracket, and one thing is called a key, and then the other thing is called the value. The value could be in any format. It could be in list. It could be in a string or anything. So that's the dictionary. And to get the value, suppose if I say key one and then the value is, let's say, 100. Now, to get that 100, what I do is I actually have to write D, and then I have to use the square bracket and say K1. And once I do that, I actually get, oh, let me just run this code. And now you can see that 100 is printing out over here. Similar to that, what I want to do is I want to actually get the hello text from this crazy looking dictionary, which is so nested and all, convoluted. So to do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this first to make it loaded. Now ignore this run 100 because it doesn't really mean anything. What we're going to do is we're going to first use this D, okay? We're going to use the square bracket, and notice that this is the first key, and then the value to this is this entire list. And let's see where it's ending. So this is a starting to another one. But we're actually going to have to look for the closing of this one. Because this started, now we're actually going to have to look for the closing of this one. And then this is the closing for that, this one. Oh, there's another one. So what happened is that there's a closing for this, and there's a closing for that other one that we were mentioning, but the latest one was this. So this entire thing is a list. And so we're gonna have to say K1. So we're gonna say K1. Okay. Um, and after that, we're gonna have to go a little bit into this because I know that there are values. What we're gonna do is there's a list, right? So this is an entire list, and I already told you that lists start from zero index. So we can say 0, 1, 2, and in the third index, there's actually another dictionary. That is crazy, right? So that and another dictionary right in there, and that's this thing, which is tricky. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna say the square bracket, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 2, and 3, and then after that we're gonna have to say the key again, which is tricky. And then once we do this, we're gonna have to go again and see over here, which is 0, 1, 2, and 3 again. There's a dictionary, so we're gonna have to go 3 again. And then what we have here is we're going to have to deal with another dictionary, which is target. So we're going to have to get the values of the target because it's another list. It's crazy, right? I love this example. So what we have here is target. And then once we are in this thing, we're going to have to look at for the hello text. So 0, 1, 2, and 3. Awesome. So it's in the third index. And we're going to get it from here. And this D should basically return hello. And there you go. We got hello from this crazy nested dictionary. Um, let me know what you thought about this example. These were just two examples before starting our data science to start it. So I'm just giving myself a break here, and I'm just trying to look in the chats if there are any queries. And if you have any problems or any issues, just let me know in the chats. We're gonna say the square bracket, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 2, and 3, and then after that we're gonna have to say the key again, which is tricky. And then once we do this, we're gonna have to go again and see over here, which is 0, 1, 2, and 3 again. There's a dictionary, so we're gonna have to go 3 again. And then what we have here is we're gonna have to deal with another dictionary, which is target. So we're gonna have to get the values of the target because it's another list. It's crazy, right? I love this example. So what we have here is target, and then
Oh, okay,
once
awesome.
we
Thanks,
are
Robert.
in this thing,
Yeah, I was just looking at the chats and I was just seeing that. You know what? We could just leave that on at the end, and I'm just gonna mute it. And I'm just assuming that everything else is working. So loading data into pandas. Okay, so now we're gonna load some data into pandas. And you know what's so cool about Python is that it has so good support for data science. Now, let's just look at what data science is before we dive into it. So data science is basically, a data scientist's job is to analyze data for actionable insights. Specific tasks include identifying the data analytics problems and offers the greatest opportunities to the organization, determine the correct data sets and variables. So this is a lot of jumbo, but what I just want to say is that data science is an art for collecting the data and then visualizing it with some plots or graphs and trying to determine some output or some result based on what you have. Trying to get some facts or information out of the data that you normally have, and that is the work of a data scientist, and it's a big demand and all that. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to the file that we're here, and we're gonna start importing some libraries. Okay, the first library that we're gonna be importing is pandas. The second library that we're gonna be importing is matplotlib.py. Okay, and this is for graphing, and this is another for graphing. And pandas is basically used for creating data frames of our CSV files. And when I use this percentage matplotlib inline, this means I could view my plots inside of my Jupyter Notebook environment. If I write this thing, so let me just delete this line over here, and I'm going to rewrite that again. So what we have, our objective here is this file over here, this Pokemon data, right? And I'm just going back to the Discord server to see if people have downloaded that file in their computer or not. So I'm just going there, and I believe it was right here. Awesome, we just have two people. So Robert is there, I believe, and the rest, I guess, are busy. But you could view this stream after the stream has been over. But right now, you could just, basically ask questions on the fly. Um, so that's their the benefit. But I'm going back to this notebook file, and I'm gonna try to basically load this file, which was this Pokemon data.csv. If I just click on it and see on Excel, it's basically a list of all the Pokemon you would see. We have Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur, and you can see over here that they have this column, this name column, this type 1 column, which is grass, type 2 column, poison. So like, what's the type of the Pokemon, the HP of the Pokemon, the attack of the level of the Pokemon, the defense level, the special attack level, the special defense, the speed, and the generation, as well as the legendary column, which tells if the Pokemon is a legendary or not. And now, if you will look over here, there are actually a total of 121 different Pokemon. Okay, and what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to load this up in my Python program, in my Python environment, that Jupyter environment. And to do that, we could use pandas, and we could actually form this CSV, which is called comma separated values, into something called a data frame, which pandas uses to manipulate the data. So I'm gonna go here,
And since I already imported pandas and already imported this all the so to import pandas is pretty simple. Import. So what you have to say is basically import pandas as PD. If you just do that, you're basically golden, and it basically imports it for you in the entire application. You could just simply do this PD because PD is actually the alias for pandas, and we say read underscore sv, and we put in these parentheses, and inside of it we have to type in the name of the file that we want to read. So actually it's Pokemon data, and we write .csv, and then we put it inside of a data frame like this. Okay, so we assigned it to a data frame, and then what we do is basically run this data frame. But it's gonna normally run all of the cells, and I don't want to read all of the columns all at the same time. But it's not even gonna show me all. So I'm just gonna do data frame dot head, and this shows me the top 5 rows from my file. And if I run this, you can see the first 5 rows, which are 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you can see Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur, Venusaur, Mega Venusaur, and then we have Charmander. So these are the first, and you can see all the columns are there as well. Amazing. And if we want to see the last 5 rows, then that's also pretty easy. You could just say tail, and that should return the last 5 Pokemon. And you can see now that at the end you see some legendary Pokemon, and then you can see the legendary column is also true here. Amazing. Now, um, now people might ask like, what if I don't want the first 5? I want the last 5. I want the last 10. Just write 10 in here, then you get the last 10. Okay. And if you want the head, just type in the head first 10, and then you get these first 10, which is from 0 to 9. Squirtle at the end. Amazing. So we're done here. We read this file and we know how it works. I'm not gonna read it because it gives so much data out. So now we're gonna read the data in pandas. Okay, so the other thing over here before we look into that is basically this data frame. If I just run it, like if I try to show it, this is 0, 1, all. How much is it going all the way to? 795, 796, 797, 798, 7999. So a total of 800 different rows and 12 columns. Great. But that's just what the pandas data frame has to say for me. What if I want it in some value format? To do that, I could simply say dataframe.shape. Okay? And if I run this, actually, this function doesn't exist. So what I have to just delete this and just write that. So now it returns a tuple for me. A tuple is basically an immutable set that is unchangeable and has this 812. Now, immutable meaning is tuple immutable. So it's over here, tuples are immutable besides the different kind of brackets used to delimit them. The main difference between a tuple and a list is that the tuple object is immutable, meaning it's unchangeable. The data cannot be changed. So this is 800 rows and 12 columns, but this is giving me in a tuple format. I want the first rows, and I want to show them as the rows and the columns as the columns. So you could simply do is you say square bracket 0, and this gives you the rows column, and you can say dataframe.shape, and then you give 1. This gives you the column. And now you can see that that my only the columns are showing, which are 12, and the rows have disappeared. It's because that I have to use the print statement, and I cannot do that because the Jupyter Notebook actually just shows both the most recent one at the end. But if you use Python's print function and wrap it around these two, you would see that both will be appearing 812. Now I don't know what this is, so you could use a string over here and say columns, and then just have like that, maybe, um, and I guess it was like this. So yeah, and the same thing over here. It'll just have this rows thing, which is should be over here. hmm Okay, so you can see over here now. I put some commas here, but you can see over here the columns are 800 and the rows are 12 for this Pokemon data set. One way was to do it like this, but a better and beautiful way is this way, using f strings. And you could just put in this colon rows, colon, and then we have um, this amazing double bracket, and inside of this, I mean, what am I saying? Squiggly bracket, and inside of that we have data frame dot shape 0, and that basically shows you this thing what we have, and data frame dot shape 1, which was this 12, but now what we have it in an f string, and f string ends till here. So the f string ends till here. The value will be placed inside of these squiggly brackets. Okay, they're called braces as well. So just put them in there, and then it should show you the number of rows and the number of columns. Exactly the same thing that we did over here. Oh, so I did something really dumb over here. I actually changed this to columns and not rows. So this is actually rows because the rows are more than the columns. The columns are actually 12. And I believe someone had this to point out during the stream, but thanks, I just cleared it. Over here we have dataframe.columns. Now, uh, you know what? I'm actually just want to see what type of columns, since we already know that the columns are 12, but I want to know what columns exist, like what are the names of the columns in our data set, right? To get that, it's pretty simple. All you could do is dataframe.columns, and then if I run this, it basically returns this index thing, and it has all of these things inside of this list. And you can see over here name, number. I guess number was the number of the Pokemon. Type 1, Type 2, HP, attack, defense, special attack, and special defense, speed, generation, and legendary. But if I change it to something like, because it's a list, I want to actually return it as a list. So I could just wrap it around as a list, and I could say calls, okay? And then I just print it out as calls. Let's see. And now this is a better form, that better formation of a list because I just changed the type of the thing that was resulted out and just put in the list thing, and now it's in a list formation, and you could do easy list processing through it. You'd also traverse the columns and just print them out one by one. So to do that, you could use a for loop for call in calls, and then you could just say print call, okay? And then just put in the number. Let me just do this for now, and because this is already printing here, so I'm just gonna have to comment that on now. So now you can see over here. So we have the number, name, type 1, type 2. These are all the columns. So I just printed out in this formation. So yeah, you could do like different type of processing and see how it actually results out in the Jupyter notebook. Okay, so now after we're done with this, you can see over here the same exact thing is happening. What it did, it was it changed its type to list and put it there, and then it just showed this list formation of columns. Now suppose if I wanna have the data frame, but let me just comment this out and show you the data frame. So I could say data frame. That's it. And now look at this. This is the data, but there's actually some problems here. I mean, there are some problems when we look into the problems like this NaN. This is a nan character, a nan value means there's no value into this, and a data scientist doesn't like stuff like this. It needs to clean this data out. Either you could remove the column, or either you could remove the entire column that has this nan, so this type 2, which is not a good approach at all, or you could remove this entire row, which is this entry, Charmander. But another good method, I mean, I think what a better approach would be to replace this nan value with something that is more suitable, maybe a mode, maybe a medium, or something that is common with all these attributes that are in that specific column, and replace it with the most occurring value in there. I will get into more into that, but right now, what we want to do is basically get this attack, and we want to get I mean, sorry, we're not the attack, but the HP and the one other column. It's the type 1 column. So type 1 and the HP column. And we want to basically sort them in descending or ascending order. Suppose if I wanted to change this HP one, so I want all the smallest HPs in ascending order. I want all the entries, like the smallest Pokemon, the baby ones, which have the smallest HP, and then those big, massive, legendary Pokemon that might have a really ginormous HP. So I want them in ascending order, and then I want the type one. So how do you might ask, how are you gonna sort the grass? or fire because this is not numerical data. This is um, categorical data, right? And then in categorical data, there could be two different types. One is nominal and one is ordinal. Ordinal means just in like some sort of order. Like you could say if we're talking about clothes, so you'd have small, medium, and large, and these are all in characters. You know, the data is in characters, but it has a certain order for the things. So that's called ordinal. But in terms of nominal, it's just names. So over here, this is nominal data: grass, fire, rock, psychic. So what I want to do is I want to basically sort this in descending order. And in descending order, it means that the ASCII character which has the highest value would go first, and the ASCII character with the lowest value, which is capital A, will be at the end. So capital Z will be in the top, and then capital Z, capital Y, capital X, all the way to capital N. That's what we have, capital A at the end. Sorry, that's what we have to achieve, and we have to basically sort this. So we could use data frame. There's a thing called sort. Okay. And there's a sort function, and basically you have to put in the column names. So basically we have to go with type 1 and the HP. So we have to use the sort values function, and we put in that thing over here. So let me just quickly show you how this is working. I'm just gonna paste in this thing. So data frame dot sort underscore values, and here we're gonna have to show in the columns that we need. So I basically put it in this list thing, and the first thing that we wanted to change was the type 1, and the second one that we want to change is the HP. Okay. Dot ascending, and then inside of this we have to put. So I believe this is how it works. Okay. So we need a comma here. So it's a bracket like that. So let me just quickly copy this syntax because this syntax is important to note, and we're just going to paste it here. Okay, so what we have here is the sort values function, and this function is going all the way till here. It accepts a list of all the columns that you need sorted. So I have type 1, and we have the HP, which is right here. And then what we do is ascending is equal to 0, 1. Now, 0 means it's in descending order, and 1 means it's in ascending order. Now, if you just get one specific one, let's say this one, and let's say the HP one. Remember I said I wanted only. Hmm, so my objective was to get the data frame, and it's basically gonna update it. It's not in a new data frame, so it's gonna be called new data frame. It's not gonna update the existing one. It's not gonna happen in place. So this new data frame will now have the HP column sorted in ascending order from smallest HP to largest HP. And if I show this data frame, you'll see not just like 52, there's 100 over here, and then there's 82, and then there's 52, which is a smaller value. You'll see that the smallest value will be on the top, and the largest value, like something like 60, I guess, but more than that will be on the bottom. So let's run this, and now you can see that this should assort it based on ascending order. So if you go in the HP, you can see the first is Shed Ninja, which is just 1 HP. And then we have this 10 HP, which is Diglett, a Magikarp with 20 HP, a Duskull with 20, a Mime Jr. with 20, and then the highest HP that you could go is Blissey, which is 255, or a Chansey with 250, a Wobbuffet with 190, or a Wailord with 170. Now people have, I mean, these Pokemon have a lot of HP to be honest, and now I basically analyze some of this data. This stuff that we're actually doing is called exploratory data analysis. Okay, and now that was pretty cool. Now suppose if I wanted in descending order, I could just simply do this. So ascending is equal to 0, and this would show me the highest ones in the top, and then the smallest ones on the bottom. And the other way to do this, I guess it's like descending is equal to 1. And I no, so that is not something there. Um, So sometimes you just have to try out two different experiments. So what I wanted to do was ascending is equal to true, and this is the true formation where the ascending things are on the top. Okay, great. But I wanted the type 1, which is the bug thing and all that, in descending order fashion. To get that, let's just have this comma here, and let's say type 1. Okay. Ascending is that, but let's have this as descending. So I'm just gonna put that like there. So this means that the z, the the words with z and then y and then x will be in the beginning, and then ones at the end. So type one, you can see over here. Oh, so it didn't apply. hmm So the reason why it didn't apply is because HP was over here, and then you did type 1, which is something before. So that's why we have to go type 1 earlier, and then with the HP at the, so like this. And then we just have to reverse this with this and that, and this should work. So now the type 1 with water, 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 that's the most biggest word. And then after that, the smallest one is bug because the ASCII of B, capital B, is smaller than the ASCII of W. For those of you who don't know ASCII, I would recommend looking at the chart and you would see that this is 66 and this should be something beyond 66. Maybe my guess is 70 plus or something, but you should verify. Sorting and describing data, but I could assure you that that would be bigger than this. So that's there, and then we just sorted data, and exactly the same thing we did over here. Type 1 HP and ascending, and we did this, and we basically manipulated it, and we formed a new data frame, new df, and this they did the exact same thing, and this is what happened. So I'm giving a break over here, and I'm just waiting for any questions, anything over here, and then from that we're gonna resume. X will be in the beginning, and then one's at the end. So type 1, you can see over here. Oh, so it didn't apply. hmm So the reason why it didn't apply is because HP was over here, and then you did type 1, which is some. Any questions or any concerns what you have, so you could just tell me. I'm here to answer your questions. And after that, we're just going to start and, the next part of this. Let me know what you think about the session. Is this going good now? Like you're learning something? Uh, yeah, just let me know in the chats. I'm over here looking at the chats, seeing if anyone's gonna reply. Waiting, come on. Anyone just say yes or no. If you could, just let me know. Should I continue? Yes or no? Please. At the end. So type 1, you can see over here. Oh, so it didn't apply. hmm So the reason why it didn't apply is because I'm still good. I haven't used Pandas much before, so that part is new info. Awesome. Great. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, awesome. Thanks. Yeah, so this is the thing that Pandas is not difficult. It's really easy. If you're used to, creating CSV files or used to Excel stuff, so Pandas shouldn't be that difficult. And if you know Python, then it's like the cherry on top. Over here we have making changes to the data. Okay, so now we're just trying to make some changes. So I'm not going to go into this, the solution right now, but we're just going to look at the statement. Here it says make changes in the data frame df so that you create a new column total, which is the sum of the columns HP, attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. Rearrange the columns such that the output of the command. Okay, no, I guess something was missing there. So what they're actually saying is that you're gonna have to add in the HP, the attack, the defense, the special thing, and speed, and I guess the generation. And you want these all things added up. I know it doesn't make sense, but maybe in some cases you would need something like this to add all these values and create a new column at the end called total, which would result that. So how would you go about this problem? Um, the solution, what I would appear here is I'm just going to create a new row here. And first of all, let's just go and say dataframe.head. So because I already see it right here with me, so I could just visualize it a little bit more. So I could just say this, and then this should appear right there. Okay, so the thing that I want is the HP, the attack, the defense, and that's all. One, novice approach. What come in my mind is something like this. So what I would do is I would actually have the HP, and then I would have it added with the data frame, um, and then I would just put the column name, which is the attack, and then I would add it plus the data frame, which is the defense. Come on, and then add it with the data frame, um, data frame. Uh, this is sp.atk, and then plus data frame. And a good approach to do this is not to write this by yourself, but actually just copy whatever it says here because you might be missing some special character or some space here. So I'm just getting this, and similar to that, I'm just getting this, and I'm replacing this with the thing that I copied from the column. So like that. And then after that, we have speed. So I'm saying data frame colon speed. Let's say speed, speed. And then we have the last one, I guess, the data frame generation. And then you might be saying, well, this is a solution, but it's not that good, right? It doesn't feel that good. So data frame, and then we have total, and then we'll have this. Okay, so that is the total, and this should be updated. So we just run it, and you assume that's updated. Okay, so I did that. So what happened now? I'll just print out the data frame.head again, and it should see that the total one should be at the end of this. So if I scroll there, you can see that there's a total column, and it has the sum of all these extra columns that I added. Pretty crazy, right? But was this a good approach? And suppose if you wanted to not have this column in the end, but you wanted to have it after, let's say, HP. So how are you gonna do that after HP, and before attack? So let's see the solution and a better solution to this. Now this is the solution that we came up with, and then this is a better solution to the problem. So if I go here and look at this solution, it says over here that use the iloc, which is the index location, and the first is always the rows, and this is the rows, the entries, and the second thing is called the columns. So it's saying getting every single content of the rows, meaning all these values that you have in the rows, and you want the columns from 4 to 10, meaning it's starting from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it starts from the attack. Sorry, I think I missed one. 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it starts with the HP. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Um, and it goes till generation because it's 4 to 10, and then it's saying sum all of them, just like what we did with that plus plus plus, that stuff over here. We're just saying get the index location from all the rows from the columns 4 to 10, and then sum it up, and the access is equal to 1 means in terms of columns, and then meaning that you're going to have to add a new column here, and that's the reason why you use access is equal to 1. If I used access is equal to 0, it would have to give me something else. um, um, in terms of a new row or something like that. So if I add this, let's see. So this there's this thing which is nan. this is exactly what happened. Because access was set to 0, and that was based on the um, the rows. So that's why you got nan over here. So that's why you need access is equal to 1, which is based on the columns. And then that's when we do this, it has the same exact total. But if I run that head part and I just want to verify, at the same exact total. So this was our old total. Remember 319, and this is our new total. I guess in this case, yes, I gotta correct myself. We're not adding the legendary thing. So 4 to 10 means 4 to 10 means not the generation up to but not including. So it's still speed. That and I guess it was till speed. Yeah. So 4 to 10 means from 4 to 10 but not including the 10th column. Corrected my mistake. Now, the other approach where I said, well, I don't want it at the end, I want it somewhere after the HP or the attack column. So to do that, you could just simply have the data frame columns, get it a list and put it as a columns, and then just assign it like this. Data frame calls 0 to 4 means the first 4 entries from the calls list will be in this data frame match, because data frame is actually going to show you the data frame for these columns, and then you're just actually saying give me the list for the last one, and then give me the list from the last till the end. Um, it's a beautiful. This is an elegant solution. It's a solution that is really amazing. If and I could just go into this, and I would say the elegant way to do it. And I'll just let me just explain this solution here, and I'll just go one by one. So let me just cross this out, and I'll just put that somewhere here in the text file. Okay. Now we're gonna first of all do the first thing. Now suppose we already have this. We created this thing. We had that sum. We use that process to get the sum of the total things. But now what we wanted to do, we wanted to attach it after the fourth one. So zero. I'm messing with the zeroth one all the time. Zero, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I guess we want it from fourth or something. Rearrange the columns such that the output of the command. It doesn't say anything over there, but what it says in the solution is um, so from 0 to 4, it's the same thing, and then we have to add it. So I guess it's from 0 to 4, but not including 4, which is 0, 1, 2, 3, and then HP is not included. So that means the total will be after the type 2, then the total will come, then the HP, and then tag, and all that other stuff should come. So um, to do that, we could just have the data frame um, dot columns thing, and it should return a list of all the columns. But it's not in a proper format. Like if I have it in data frame like this, and I want to try to return the result, and I say that, okay, now iloc. So index object has no attribute iloc. I guess we have to run something over here. Let's run the top part here, and let's go back here where that error appeared. And it says, okay, I guess we don't need this thing. Yes, we don't actually need this thing. That's why it's giving us the error. Okay, so now we have this index thing, and it has these list, but it's not in a list formation. To do that, we have to do this. Okay, so now what we have here is index was not an object of columns. Columns. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have columns. Okay, I'll just say calls. Calls. Index object has no attribute columns. I guess dataframe.columns. Was it this way or was it like this? Now I'm gonna have to see why this error occurred. Um, wait a minute. I don't have to do that. I just have to verify if that's correct. So over here we have dataframe.columns, and we're changing it to the list type, dataframe.columns. and we wrapped it around this, and we put it in as a list, and we say calls is equal to that. Um, Index object has no attribute columns. Okay, I guess because the data frame already exists here, I have to read it or something. Um, so I think I have to go one by one. This is there. Okay, it comes here a problem. I think we're mixing up one value, and this is some, yes, this thing over here. Why did I do that? Um, let's just remove that because this thing is creating all those issues. Okay, it has an attribute. Tuple object has no attribute sort values. Because this is a tuple. This thing's gonna be somewhere over here. This thing over here. Tuple. Okay. No, it says over here tuple has object. So because it's data frame over here, data frame. So this is the data frame. It shouldn't give an error over here now. It shouldn't give an error over here now. It shouldn't give an error over here. And if I run this thing, it should easily work. Awesome. And what is this? I remember that index location. We actually just have this one single total. Now, I used head to have the total of the head. And yeah, it's showing me in terms of some random values. Um, hmm. So, so it starts with magic harp or something. And I guess it was in water or something like that. Exactly. And then this is that's why because it was in sorted in ascending order, and then that happened. So it's totally fine and totally working. And then after that, what we have to do is this thing, and let me just do it that way. Finally, we got the columns, but we had to remove. I mean, we have to change this total thing, which is over here, and we have to move it somewhere here in the after type two. And the way to go about this is that we have the columns, um, which is over here, and we could actually have the data frame and then pass in the column. Like, I guess if I write like this, it just shows me the entire data frames for this, right? This is the whole thing, the whole data set. But if I have, a piece by piece of this, because I know that the first um, 0 all the way to how many, like 4 up to and but not including, is basically till type 2, right? But then I have this other one, and I just have to concatenate it, and I'll say calls, and I have the last one, which is the total one, right? Okay. Cannot concatenate. Well, because not stir to list can only concatenate list, and this calls minus one is actually a string. So I'm gonna have to change it to a can only so I'm gonna have to change it to a list by wrapping it around with square brackets like this. And now you can see that the total one is appearing afterwards. And then what we have to do is pretty simple. All we have to do is another concatenate, and we have to say from 4 all the way to the end, right? And that should appear everything. So it should be name, type 1, type 2, total, HP, the attack, defense, and generation. And that was our, entire solution. And that was it. Um, to just verify it, when I was checking just the type of calls, minus one, it was actually a list because I wrapped it around these exterior square brackets. But if I just wrote it like this, it was actually a string. And to be honest with you, this is a print. It's actually total. It's just a total string. It's nothing else. And that's why I have to wrap it around as a list. And if I do this, then it's like in this formation, and then it's like easy to have the columns label as for that. So that's why I changed it to type. Type is just used to indicate what type it is. And that's the exact same thing what I did. I basically concatenate this, concatenate that, and concatenate that, and I just showed you in a better format way. Um, Okay, so to detect nan variable, nan characters are the ones that have missing values. So there are nan values in the data frame in various columns. Display the number of nan in each column. To get the number of nans, so if I could view my Excel file, and you can see over here Bulbasaur and seem everything is okay over here, but then there's some missing values like this stuff. You see that? And this stuff over here, and then this stuff over here. So there are some missing values, and we gotta cope this problem, this stuff. And these are NAs, NA values, and we want to tell how many missing values are there. To be honest with you, in type 2, there's a whole lot of missing values. And to do that, it provides us, Pandas provides us a pretty amazing function. It's called dataframe.isNA, and I use like this. And that just shows me the features that have null. So over here, just saying, um, every single row every single row entry by entry and saying, well, there's no NA, no NA, no NA. And then when it says true, it means there is an NA. So this is not like practical. I want dot sum. If I write like this, it gives me every single column and the number of NAs it has. And remember when we said type 2 had so many? Well, it's a result that 286 are from the type 2, and that's the only NAs that they're existing. Okay? Um, and let's suppose we wanna what else do I wanna do? Table manipulation. We have the NAs. Um, I wanted to show one last thing before we could. Yeah, I want to see the data types for every single column. Like, suppose that there are some characters here in string, there's characters here in string, string. These are numerical, right? Some D types, maybe integers. This is some kind of Boolean. But I want to know what data types every single column exists. So we could just say data frame dot D types. And if I say this, and I guess I don't need this bracket here, so sometimes you just have to be explicit. The number is an int, 64 means 64-bit. These are objects, and then the rest are 64 bits, and then there's a boolean, remember the true false thing, and then another 64-bit int. These objects are the things that are, the things that I called string. These are objects now. And it just shows me all the data types that exist in the columns. So um, right now I'm here, and I'm just gonna be stopping here just to see if people are even watching this. Um, if you guys have any questions and you find this thing interesting, then I could keep continuing. Um, and if you want, I would have like a request for those of people who want more of this. Maybe in a future session we could do probably this week, maybe next one, maybe after 2 to 3 weeks, so we could continue this data science exploration. Or for those of you who don't want this and want something else, maybe in terms of machine learning or artificial intelligence, or maybe something in general, let's say data structures or algorithms or Python or web development or anything, just let me know. You're always in the Discord server, you can always ask your questions or queries or talk about any future sessions there and let me know. Apart from that, I would love to hear what you thought about this session. There were some issues in the beginning of the session, and I hope that stuff doesn't happen in the future. But other than that, it was really good teaching this, and I believe that I just want to hear some questions out from you, and I want to know what you thought about this session. So yeah, go ahead. Just let me know in the chats. I'm here just for a couple of more minutes to see the questions, and then we're gonna respond, and then finally conclude. And then another 64-bit int. These objects are the things that the things that I called string. These are objects now, and it just showed me all the data types that exist in the columns. So um, right now I'm here, and I'm just gonna be stopping here just to see if people are even watching this. Um, are there any performance issues in large data sets with uh, defaulting to in 64? Is there efficiency to be gained by trying to force a smaller memory footprint? Yeah, like that is a 64-bit int. You could convert those 64-bit into a 32-bit int, and that does make your memory less efficient. I mean, makes the memory more efficiently used. What I'm trying to say is that you basically use smaller amounts of memory and are using a better format. But what if, suppose those numbers are large, and for those large numbers you would need a bigger size, and for those that's why int64 would be suitable. But but in those cases that where you would say that it isn't that critical, where when you know beforehand that the memory sizes are going to be relatively small, and that is the average and the extreme cases, you're going to have to take out the outliers as well. And then for that case, you would always just stick with int32. And I guess there's a conversion as well. Convert int64 to int32 in Python. Um, Python. Let's see. So yeah, convert D type. So in Stack Overflow, it says it should have an answer. So it says over here, what you do is NumPy and dot array, and you have the D type. So over here, you put in this array thing. So you have this list, and you say D type is equal to np dot int64, and it changes it to the int64 type. If you change it to np dot, say suppose let's say x dot d type, and that is the int64. And if I say x dot a s type, and I put in the np dot int 32, or maybe I just write it like this, it would just change it to int32. So yeah, uh, how to convert or cast a string of an integer in Python, you can use the int built-in function. The function takes as a parameter the initial string you want to convert and returns the integer equivalent of the value passed. So that's how it works, and yeah, you could do stuff like that. It's totally possible. Any more questions? Just let me know. So, for those of you who came from the Code Academy, I would like to know like where actually you came from the stream. Are you from the Code Academy chapter, or are you from my YouTube page, or are you from the Discord server? Like, I would like to know where you actually found this news of this session. For Robert there, who was actually the whole way through, I guess, I would recommend you to join the Discord server. That because that would be really helpful for you. You could always catch up with all future events, and you could always ask your questions there. We have a helpful community of people who are trying to help each other out, and you could always ask your questions in the relevant channels, like for Python or from other ones, and you could get your solution solved. So, and we're gonna have future events too. But I would just like to know, like, what would you like in the future ones? What do you think about this session in general? You could write in the chats, and I would just want to hear from you guys. And if there's nothing else to say, then I'll have to conclude on the announcement in the Code Academy Discord. Awesome, got it. Great, great, awesome. And I guess a lot of other people did find it as well, but they were having, like I was having that issue in the beginning where things weren't going out well. So, yeah, hello, Anon. Yeah, Discord. Yeah, of course. Um, and that's why I guess a lot of the viewers that were actually gonna have to visit, I was gonna have like a little more larger audience, but I guess because of those initial problems, people um, just ran away from the you know, meeting. And I totally believe that. I mean, if it was me too in that place, I would actually feel like it was not sufficient, and I would not waste my time just trying to see if that worked. But I really appreciate for those of you who sticked around. I could see that you guys are dedicated and you really wanted something out of this session, and I hope like you got it through and you learned something, and that's always the thing that's at the end beneficial. Um, you could always chat and discuss things on the Discord server. Our goal is basically to create this amazing community of developers, and for those of you who want to basically support me, you could become a Patreon. And this is the Patreon page. So just go to patreon.com and you're going to unlock this amazing feature of being a backer or supporter or an investor, a monthly payment, and you get exclusive things, not only just the um, community posts, but you also get early access, live stream question answers, exclusive downloads, life and work updates, and all this amazing stuff. And actually make you some dedicated member in the Discord server, and you get these amazing unlockables. And I have a patron who's actually enjoying all of these. We have some data science cheat sheets as well. So I'm basically giving them away to my patrons. But for those of you who want to actually purchase them, you could just go to gumroad.com. So it's basically coding cleverly uh, gumroad.com. And over here, I mean, that's not the page. I mean, it is. I guess I didn't type it properly. So if I just go to here, yeah. So it's codingcleverly.gumroad.com. So these are the data science cheat sheets. And if you go to the NumPy or the Pandas one, you just click on one of them, and you could just add to cart, and from there you just download it. And basically they're handwritten. So because I already have this account, this is actually my account, so I don't have to pay anything. It's just $1. And then once you have it, it's this thing, PDF. So you just download it. So I'm just showing you how it looks like. You save it, and then you just view it. So this is the cheat sheet that I created. And Pandas for Data Science is all handwritten, and it's made by me. So you import Pandas as PD, you read a CSV, pd.read underscore CSV, a sample.csv file, and you paid it as a DF. So creating a data frame using a CSV. Okay? And then this is a dictionary thing. So we have a temp dictionary, and it's equal to a squiggly bracket close. We have a column, one, which is the key, and colon, which is a list of values. So key value pair, a key value pair, a key value pair. So there's three key value pairs. So you can say key value, a string key, and then a list of ints. So it's just a neat form of cheat sheets to just get yourself around the PD.data frame. So what I'm actually doing is actually creating this. I'm changing this dictionary data type. It's a data structure in Python, and I'm forming it into a data frame, a pandas data frame. So you could use PD.data frame in caps dot from underscore dict, and then change it and putting in this temp dict and inside of this parentheses, and basically you form a data frame out of it. So you created a data frame from this Python dictionary. Amazing. To get the first 10 rows, you use data frame dot head. To get the last 10 rows, you use data frame dot tail and put in the 10 inside. But by default, it's just going to show you the first 5. Okay. So data frame dot columns to get the columns, data frame dot d types to get the data types. To get the summary statistics, you could use data frame dot describe, and it calculates the count, mean, standard, min, max, different quartiles only on the integers and floats. So this is one page of the cheat sheet. There are so many other things that you could get along with it. It is something very useful, and I would recommend you checking it out. For those of you who are lost and don't know where that link is, I could actually provide you. I mean, Sylvain also knows. I mean, he has organized a really cool formation of the list in the Discord server. It has all the useful links that you need, but this list is actually in this Gumroad page. So I just go back to this home page. Um, so if I go to the home, I actually want to go to just the home page, coding cleverly. Yeah. So over here we have this links. Should be over here somewhere. Yeah. So this is the links, and over here you would see. Um, so this is amazing. Sylvain is a patron, and he created this amazing looking list of all the important links that you need, and I believe that the Gumroad link is going to be over here as well. So this is the Gumroad one, codingcleverly.gumroad.com. Um, and if you want it on the live stream, I could just send it there as well. So I'm just sending it just a second in that stream here. Hmm. How many more videos to come on data science? This was not a video, this was actually a live stream, but I'm requesting for those of you who want a proper, like a series going on, a live stream series, then you could always let me know in the Discord servers. You could let me know in the chats and what you thought about this session because unfortunately in the beginning there were so many issues, but now we finally progressed and everything is working well. But I'm feeling like we might have another session this week or maybe a little bit in the weekend. But I want to have your guys' feedback. I really want to know what you think about this before we could do anything else. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. I guess that's it from my side, and I'm actually going to be concluding. This was a session that we learned a little bit, and I hope that we learn even more in the future and keep coding. And thank you so much. Have a great day. I'm here for a little bit longer, and then I'm just going to end the stream. We have this links, should be over here somewhere. Yeah, so this is the links, and over here you would see. So this is amazing. Sylvain is a patron, and he created this amazing looking, list of all the important links that you need. And I believe that the Gumroad link is going to be over here as well. So this is the Gumroad one, codingcleverly.gumroad.com. Um, and if you want it on the live stream, I could just send it there as well. So I'm just sending it. Just a second. Join the Discord server. Shoksha here. Shoksha. I did send the Discord server anyway. But you should find it somewhere in the other places as well. How many more videos to come on data science? This was not a video. This was actually a live stream. But I'm requesting for those of you who want a proper like a series going on, a live stream series, then you could always let me know in the Discord servers. You could let me know in the chats and what you thought about this session because unfortunately in the beginning there were so many issues, but now we finally progressed and everything is working well. But I'm feeling like we might have another session this week or maybe a little bit in the weekend. But I want to have your guys' feedback. Really want to know what you think about this before we could do anything else. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. I guess that's it from my side, and I'm actually going to be concluding. This was a session that we